Honorable members of the jury, dear audience, greetings. Here we go again, standing in this vast wooden stage behind this podium, which seems familiar to all of us, to debate a hot issue of great importance and to prove some myths to be false. Today, we are debating a topic that created controversy within societies and individuals, a topic whose results affected generations and countries and is one of the most debated socio-political topics of our time. It is all about social media, you know, this drug that keeps us connected to the world and keeps us updated on what's going on. And today, we're discussing whether its posts aim at falsifying facts about people and institutions. Before we dive deep into the subject, what a better way to start than by defining the keywords of the motion to clarify some points and avoid some confusions you may have. To falsify a fact is to dishonorably change something that is true to mislead people. As of social media, it is a bunch of websites and applications that allow users to create and share content, ideas, photos, videos, messages, and so on. Now that we got those out of the way, let's start. We are living in an era of digitization, and information technology is progressively growing day by day. We are using websites such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, and so on as an everyday occurrence, and they became a huge part of our daily routines. Currently, and according to statistics realized in 2019, around 3 to 4 billion of the world's population are social media users. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand how big is this number? It is almost half of the world's population. So we can clearly see and say that social media bombarded and overcame us as human beings. Not gonna deny that it does have some positive effects such as socialization and being closer to other parts of the world. But don't let these fool you, because behind them we found lots of dangerous ones, such as fake news, cyberbullying, and addiction. Each day, millions of billions of information are being circulated as we scroll down our pages. But the question always remains the same. Should I believe this? Is this true? So my team and I will give you examples, arguments, statistics, and stories to get you out of the darkness, lead you to the right path, and answer your questions. So, to start, what are exactly fake news? I mean, we're going to be using this term throughout the whole debate, so I really want you to know what it means. It is just a term used to refer to fabricated news, and it is just an invention, a lie created out of nothing, and it takes the appearance of real news with the aim of deceiving people. So don't forget that the information is false, but it seems true. And that is completely logical. I mean, think about it this way. If it is too obvious that it's fake, people won't believe it and it won't have any impact on them. So they don't make it seem very fake. And the concept of falsifying facts and truths about people and institutions is nothing new. It has been for so long, but the ambiguity of the lies and the ease with which they can convincingly fake is an outgrowth of the technological environment that the so-called new media finds itself in. Now that I've defined the keywords, I'm going to let you after with my teammates that will give you further explanation for this topic. Thank you.
Good morning. Social media posts aim at falsifying facts and truths about people and institutions. Well, that's a subject that hits quite close to home. Because although some of us might deny it, social media constitutes a big part of our lives. What am I saying? A big part of our identity. As teenagers, of course. To speak of my own experience, I like to keep my phone on my bed next to me when I sleep. So the first thing I do in the morning, as soon as I open my eyes, is to check my social media. I like to go on WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook even, sometimes, because I'm a very curious person and I don't like to be kept in the dark. When I take my phone, I could spend more than an hour on it and then have to rush for everything else. Doesn't this sound familiar to you guys? Well, you might ask, why am I saying this to you? And why am I spending this much time on social media? Social media has always been there for me. It was there when I needed a shoulder to cry on. It was there when I needed sad music to listen to. It was there when I needed advice. It gave me some like the ones my older sister would have given to me. So for you guys, dear opponents, to say that something that I hold this close to my heart, something that has always been there for me, is lying to me, isn't trustworthy, that's definitely a pill that's hard to swallow, and something that I cannot accept. Today, I am standing here in front of you all because to get rid of all these false accusations that you're blaming social media for. Because I, unlike some, I am grateful. I see the good that social media has done for me, and I am here standing up for it. I would never turn my back on a friend when it needs me the most. So I heard my opponents talk about numbers. She talks about how many people use social media. I think that this helps me more than her, because the world's population is 7.7. She said that almost 7.7 billion. She said that almost 4 billion people use social media. And each of these 3.3 billion people that use social media have an average of 7.6 social media accounts. And a new account is created every 10 seconds. But what if what they were saying was true? Wouldn't this rupture our relationship to social media? If you had a friend, see it my way, if you had a friend, and this friend was always lying to you, if it was like taking advantage of you, if that friend wasn't truthful, would you still hang out with that friend? Wouldn't you cut him off? Well, I think my point is clear here.
So December 26, 2016, my family, my brother and sister, and I are getting ready to go to dinner. So when I look up and I see this tweet that George Michael has died, I tell my family. My sister didn't seem to have a reaction to it. She was just standing over by the side, working on her computer. Moments later, she pipes up that it's a hoax. So I look up, I quickly walk over to her. I'm looking over her shoulder, and I see this, and the article she was reading was from a website I've never seen before. But what was funny about this is that it was dated the next day. So I just said, I think what you're looking at is a hoax. So now this whole thing is thrown into confusion. But so we spent a little bit of time trying to figure out whether the New York Times was tricking us, or whether the New York Times was tricking us or not. But the fact is, he was dead, unfortunately. Anyways, the final twist to this bizarre tale is that we live in a poor society where people are extremely unconscious because they would believe in everything they see on social medias, and just because there's a quote with a picture next to it. But and on the same society I'm talking about, we can find those so-called honest people that do anything to make us. Yes?
Point of information. Since you consider websites as social media, where did you get your speeches from?
I just said in the beginning that I get them from reliable sources, not social medias that lie to us. Okay. Okay, so I think that some of you may wonder why would social media's posts aim at falsifying facts? But I can tell you that there are multitudes of reasons why they would spread those fake news about us and about institutions. Sorry. So the first reason is political reasons. You know. According to researches made by professors from the Ohio State University, fake news most likely have a substantial impact on the voting decisions on the elections of 2016. The second reason is to harm a business competitor. And when we talk about business, we cannot we cannot avoid mentioning Aghnouch. I guess you've all heard about the scandal about the boycotting of Central. But what you don't know is that some people were posting some fake news and false facts to force the boycott, and social medias weren't showing the real statistics of how much money did Central lost and how much money, on the other hand, did Jawda has gained. Third reason is to promote products. I think we've all been fooled by the product's advertisement. You know, beauty products promise us that we will become unique, mysterious, and I don't know why. Car offers the opportunity to become heroic and adventurous, and let alone theme parks that promise to us to travel in their imaginary world. But you know, the main reason for inventing this is to make money. You have to understand that on the internet, popular news means ad revenue. The more clicks on a page, the more advertising on the page is seen. Thank you.
Dear Prime Minister, later, can you give us some examples of not fake information, as we said? What a beautiful audience we have here with us today. And I'm sure none of you can wait to be entertained. People are using social media for a variety of purposes. But the four main uses for social media form the acronym SLAM. S for sharing, L for learning, I for interacting, and M of marketing. Guys, do you see an F of falsifying in SLIM? Sorry, but I do not see an F of falsifying in SLIM. The way technology is growing, it is obvious. I mean, wow. That more and more people are going to grab its benefits. It has brought a lot of advantages for society. We've gone from progressed nations to underdeveloped countries. Every nation is utilizing the power of social media to enhance life. Also, just like anything can be used for both good and bad, social media has to provide the negative and positive ways for people. Sorry. It is all about the usage and getting things done positively by using the power of social media. It is in the hands of the user, and it is up to him or her to use it for its benefits. Because everything is perceived to have a positive effect unless it's used negatively. I totally disagree with you when you say that social media aims at falsifying truths and facts and the situations about people. And you know why? Because there is no fake news. And there are only like some weak signals of information. And behind these weak signals, the mysterious truth is hidden. As we all say, there's no smoke without fire. That's why it is up to us to find out this reality. You can't lay all the blame for misinformation at the doors of social media. It is also a reflection on low levels of media literacy. Many people just don't know how to judge the accuracy of media literacy. Sorry. Yes. Many people just don't know how to judge the accuracy of what they watch, read, or hear, and fair enough, since many of us came of age in a world that didn't require this kind of media sophistication you need today. But happily, there are some amazing people, the amazing organization who are hardest work on the challenge of supporting media literacy. Particularly among young people. They use like some social tools to do it. And social tools to do it. For example, the lamp engages young people in media accuracy by challenging them to mix the news with their media breaker tool and to share the results on a closed video sharing platform. We humans, we believe what we want to believe. Thank you.
The internet is both world's best fact checker and world's best bias confirmer, often at the same time. Quote by Michael Peeling. Good morning, respected judges, my worthy opponents, faculty members and audience. I, member of a government, hereby humbly express my thanks to all of you for your interest in this subject. And I would like to start by saying that I had a very hard headache trying to figure out how to prove this subject, just to lead you guys to the right path, because apparently in your situation, you just led yourself astray. I mean, no offense. So let's start. So in 2000, so let's start. Let's be more serious. If I ask you one question, what is the fastest thing in the world? Some people would say a Jaguar. Some smart people would say light. Yeah, maybe. Some super intellectual people would say holidays. Well, my answer is the spread of fake news. Now, in fact, fake news are spreading faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And they have a constantly increasing impact in the world. Well, the deputy leader of opposition, you said that there is no fake news. Well, I have examples for you, luckily. So, according to a research by BuzzFeed, they identified top fake news on Facebook in 2016, known as Obama signs executive order banning all the Pledge of Allegiance in schools nationwide. It was published by a website created to resemble ABC News, and it generated 2.1 million shares, comments, and reactions in just 2 months. Even worse, according to a research by BuzzFeed, 75% of US adults were fooled all the time just to change the accuracy of the US presidential election. See guys, we are diving deeper and deeper into this subject. Hopefully our head won't explode from pressure. So, as you may notice, false facts don't come in just one type. They have a big diversity, and they each have a purpose behind them. We may have a parody, which is made just to satirize the media, but can sometimes fool when shared out of context. Then we have the misleading news that are sort of true, but used in the wrong context. Then we have the sloppy reporting that fits in an agenda, and it's used to support a precise point of view. Then we have the misleading news that are not based on facts, but support an ongoing narrative. Then we have the intentionally deceptive, and this one. These are the news that have been fabricated deliberately just to either make money through it or to create discontent and confusion to a certain and targeted audience. And this is the worst one. See, guys, these are just some people behind the screens trying to destroy other people's mentality. I can easily create my own company and start saying that and that about that company and that institutor and keep posting fake posts and fake statistics and fake proofs just to manipulate the way I want, the audience I want, and the way I want. And see, guys, when a TV and social media show these policemen, show these schools, crimes, and hospitals, do bad videos about it, we shouldn't focus on the empty part of the water glass. This is pessimistic. We shouldn't generalize. We shouldn't believe everything we see in the internet. These are just some ill-intentioned people trying to give us a bad image of our country, which is not the case. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have one question before I start my intervention. Do people that throw papers away look believable to you? And to answer you, sweetie, you just said, when we asked you about where did you get your speeches from, you said, reliable answer. It's just like telling someone, where do you live? And he said, the earth. So, people, what a great time to be alive. Am I right? Or maybe not for some people. But from what I know, I'm going to make these 4 minutes, I will give you a show to remember. Social media. Wow, what a subject. First thing I thought about to research this subject, let's go and Google social media helps. First thing that pops up, social media helps education, society, democracy, public awareness. So before you start writing your arguments about social media aims, not helps, I beg your attention because this won't be said twice. If the people are helped, then they got a beneficial / positive consequence from that, which means that the information that was given was non-falsified. So we can furthermore dig into this subject. My first point would be how social media can help during a crisis. Lately, there have been many disasters. As one of them, the storm Sandy. Although many people didn't have power, but some Wi-Fi towers were still working. So people tweeted about the state of the city and to reassure friends and families. Now, let's take a look at this from their position. So, let's take as an example, give me a name, Sarah. So Sarah is a survivor of a storm. Now she has Wi-Fi. She's going out and tweet, everybody, I'm okay, here's my localization. So from what they're saying, her family should be like this. Yeah, that's fake. She gotta die. Yeah, that's fake. Definitely. Moving to my second point. Social media can be used as a forum. So let me explain. You can go on Twitter and lend support by opening a hashtag so people can donate to it. As an example, the Boston tragic marathon bombings. So Twitter promoted a hashtag named #OneBoston. $200,000 was donated. On to my third point. Can you please explain this contradiction that you are bringing yourself into? Hear me out, dear audience. You are saying that media aims at falsifying facts and truths. Non-intentionally, you are saying that your speeches are fake. So let me explain. So I have two questions, actually. I have two questions. The first one, where did you get your speeches from? And don't answer me with reliable sources again. Please, precise. Second one is, can you please explain this logic, if ever there's one? And to sum this up, media is 99.99% of the time aiming at facts about institutions. Yes?
You said, where do we get our...
To sum this up, media is 99.99% of the time aiming at facts about institutions and people. So unless you are pessimistic, you would say that there's still a small fraction, which is 0.01% when media talks about fake information. Tackling this won't be much of a problem because all the people that fall for that 0.01% are gullible. And ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 here. Thank you.
Dear friend, so it's because of you, it's because of people like you that use sarcasm in such important motions that we have this bitter pill, fake news. As a quote says, counting fake news exposure is like counting people in a fun house. Dear audience, dear opponents, good morning. Falsehoods spread like wildfire on social media, getting quicker and longer lasting pickup than the truth. Well, if it seems like fake news is everywhere, it may be, because it is actually. So just to remind you, guys, mainly fake news are news with misleading headlines and stories that purposely spread misinformation. And what we must understand by now is that fake news or any other type of false information can take on different faces. But most importantly,
these fake news, they can also have major and massive impacts, and that's what I'm going to talk about for these 3 minutes left. But before, I just want to clarify something. We know all that information shapes our worldview. We make important decisions based on this information. We form an idea about people or about a situation by obtaining this information. But what if, guys, this information is invented? What if it was exaggerated, fake, false, or even distorted? Well, obviously, we won't make good decisions, aren't we? For example, for the impacts, we find the financial impacts, we find the democratic impacts. These posts can alter the way reality is perceived. They can affect the image of institutions and organizations. Like nowadays, new organizations face pressure more than ever to make themselves trustworthy. These posts also, they pose threats for national security by altering the people's perceptions of values and risk. But what makes me so sad that these posts, they can lead us to form and create racist ideas, especially between religions. You know that endless cycle, one religion blaming the other about something they didn't do or they don't believe in, and then the other blaming the next. And then what's gonna happen? Big fights, wars, people getting killed. And I want to talk also about something really important. It's the bullying and violence against such innocent people. Yes, all these false rumors and all these false photoshops that target specific individuals can have major impacts. So these individuals may be harassed by threats, by insults, and they end their life by suicide. So these people that just enjoy the taste of spreading misinformation, lying on their couches, they can have real life impacts. And what I mean by that is suicide. Yes, many boys and girls, innocent ones, they just end their lives by suicide. So please, we should never ever rely on some information non-validated so we can decide whether a person is guilty or innocent. We should have that, what do we call it, the critical thinking. We should, I think that you agree that we are all human beings, and each one of us has a brain. So this brain, we should use it to think, to search, to check out if this information is fake or true. That's why we should not rely on non-validated informations. Thank you.
Dear audience, take notes of who else agrees with our lovely opponent's position. Aziz Akhnush, every single one of Arab world leaders, and surely all the corrupted people running social facilities. Basically, everyone who's afraid of being exposed and held accountable for his actions. Indeed, social media exhibited many law and humanity violation practices. Furthermore, it helped solving them. We can list a recent case in Iraq where a man named Mohammed Jassim was arrested just because he posted some pictures and wrote few lines revealing, wait for it, the truth. Asking for people in charge to do their jobs, which simply is to effectuate repairs his neighborhood critically needs. Many pages in different social media platforms supported him, which is the reason why this man is free now. Now, let me tell you that this was not reported in the news because actually it goes against politicians and the system in Iraq. And that if it was on people like you who believe in such position, this man would be still in jail. Morocco, too, doesn't lack similar cases, the ones where facts were unveiled and change was made thanks to social media. We all remember the horrible and heartbreaking videos on YouTube showing patients suffering in the middle of pitiable hospitals, either left aching in the hands of unhuman staff or not even taken in charge and being left to die in front of hospitals' doors or even inside them. After these videos, investigations were made and employees and employers were punished, again thanks to social media, which revealed the truth. Another example is the boycott of several products, which allowed Moroccans to raise their voices and come together for the good cause. They exposed corruption thanks to facts and truths, and proved once again that social media is the voice of youth, the change's voice. In 2012, while official news channels were reporting Putin's denials of any intention to invade the Ukraine, the social media investigation showed Russian soldiers posting selfies at the border in front of their tanks. Official news channels are considered as reliable sources, just like the ones you took your information from. Sounds familiar, right? In fact, that's exactly what our country's official channels do too. They support the system regardless of what the truth is, unlike social media, which reports reality, even live sometimes. The data that identifies us as individuals goes beyond the name or an address. An Instagram picture or a Facebook post can now prove an activity or a behavior that paints a much truer picture of what is really going on. There has been a massive shift in the way organizations use social media data over the past few years. The most compelling news is in combating crime and terrorism. Crowdsourcing can give a view of what has really happened without the need for expensive and resource-drowning manual investigation.
Dear member of the opposition, you said, where do we get our researchers from? We get them from search engines and not social media, and there is a big difference between them. And you said that if you search, social media helps. Of course you'll find those results. You're searching something that is in favor of your position. So if we search social media lies, we'll find same things in favor of our position. Anyway, people don't realize that technology is not neutral. The best way to get attention is to know how people's minds work. You can push some buttons so you can get them to not just come to your platform, but to stay as long as possible. And more time equals more money. And businesses have such this infinite appetite to get more money and more attention, said Harry Tristan once. It is supposed to be journalism's job to inform people, but you can see it has been hijacked by social media. Ambrosino once said, if the standard for journalism was to ask, is this verifiable? The standard for new digital publication is this click-worthy? End of the quote. In a media environment that is full to the brim with the fake news, our daily conversations are pockmarked with unverified facts. And so now we have people refuse the objective truth, and they just say some facts that are in their favor. This is what we call alternative facts. And we are living now, as some students call, the post-truth era. It is a world where truth is no longer valued, and personal truth can be backed up with alternative and false facts. Thank you.
Well, I heard these guys talk about TV. I heard them talk about some facts, some statistics that they got from BuzzFeed, which is a social media, of course. And I don't think that they really know what a social media is about. A social media is a media thanks to what people can interact. They use search engines to find their informations, right? But they're search engines. What are they gonna find in search agents? These search agents lead them to articles, to posts that are posted by people that other people can comment on. And why there is this social media? Because people couldn't trust TV anymore. And did you know, guys, that social media has bypassed newspapers? People go to social media and don't buy newspapers anymore. And of course, you know that newspapers' main purpose is to deliver news, aside from wiping glasses, of course. Well, where was I going to? These people don't even buy TVs anymore. They buy a TV as a decoration. Talking about TV, if you want to buy something that's quite expensive, an investment, what do? If you want to go to a new restaurant, what do? You check for reviews online because you don't want to spend your hard-earned money on something that you won't like. You believe it. You believe these reviews. You want to see what people thought about it. It's also one way that's made big companies and enterprises more accessible to people. Now, people really on Twitter expect a response in 1 hour or less. Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to correct something. At no point did we say that social media do not give true facts or something like that. We defend general ideas, but you defend exceptions. You know, BBC News once claimed in one of their articles that two out of three of news that we read on social media are fake. So you're just defending exceptions, and we are defending the general ideas. And for you, dear Deputy Leader of the Opposition, dear Deputy of the Leader of Opposition, I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but I kind of like didn't understand your question. You're like saying opposite things. In the beginning, you said that social media do not relate fake news, and after that you told us that there are organizations that fight those fake news. So is there fake news or aren't there in social medias? Thank you.
Hi again. Social media doesn't make us change ourselves or what you call falsify our truth. In fact, this is totally wrong. In fact, social media help us to be ourselves more than we actually are. And it sometimes shows the other side of what so-called honest people. In a lot of cases, when their truth is uncovered, they deny it. They totally deny it, and they claim that their accounts were hacked. And I can give examples, but like Zuhair, I won't say his name, but you know, yeah. And after this uncovered truth, that doesn't mean that social media falsified the truth about these people. Moreover, feminism, prevents, and every single move was supported by social media. Taking feminism as an example, the whole 21st century changed mentality. The whole 21 mentality changed. Girls, women became more proud of themselves. They became more proud of their bodies. They became more proud of their skin tone. They became more proud of their imperfections. They became more successful. We started thinking that future is female, and all this stuff has succeeded, and thanks to social media. Thank you too.
So, for dear leader of the opposition and the member of the opposition. So you said that search engines lead us to articles that lead us to social media. Well, does Wikipedia, for instance, look like a social media for you? And you said that TV has no relation with social media. Well, TV is affected by social media. When there is any scandal and any news on social media, TV channels are automatically affected, and they start saying saying some things about those news. So I will go back to my point in my first intervention. There are some ill-intentioned people trying to give a bad image for the audience and also for the other countries. And even if we assume that social media is like scaring all of the employees and scaring all of the citizens, or it's like the big eye or the big brother of all the country, it's giving a bad image to the other countries of something that isn't real, just to the minority. And I will come back for examples, and I have a true Moroccan example. So this is an article found in kawalis.com that published a fabricated story alleging that the European Parliament withdrew Safi's name from the list of winners because he's a criminal that has no link with the human rights. And this story is completely false. It is based on fabricated facts and conspiracy theories, and the European Parliament has never maintained that Safi was a criminal, nor did they withdraw his name. And let's talk about YouTube, which is also a social media. Why do you always find those fadiha, shahid qabla al-hadd, about all this? These are just some things that are trying to give us a bad image about our country, and to all of the other countries they try to falsify facts. Thank you.
So, first of all, Wikipedia is a social media. You just have to have an account on it. And second of all, you just said that TV channels are influenced by social media. I wonder which TV channels you watch. And you're making it seem like you're talking about your own world, not ours, because I have never seen a war start from social media. Where did that happen? And you're saying, dear Deputy Prime Minister, that we are defending the exception. But close and open your eyes. We are the ones defending general, and you are the ones defending exception. Can you give us example? No. Well, if you look at this, I have one favor to ask, dear audience. Look at this. Everything. Look at it. I'm going to narrate. On my left, you can see people that are true to themselves. By true, I mean that they use social media every single day and that they don't say that it's fake. While on my right, I see people that think that social media posts aim at falsifying facts. Well, let me tell you something, dear audience. What's fake in this scenario are them. Wait. This reminds me of a J. Cole verse. You know J. Cole? He said, I'm fake, but it's never been clearer. Can't see myself when I look in the mirror. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are at that extent of fake when they can't even recognize themselves when they look in the mirror. And thank you.
Thank you. Dear member of the opposition, I just want to remind you that we are in a debate to attack the arguments of the others, not to attack us. You did attack us many times. And just to record, we're not against social media. We're against the people who falsify facts through the social media. And I'm so sorry for you that they are controlling you because their goal is accomplished. You just believe what they expose to you because
for you, dear leader of the opposition, you said that social media stood for us. Social media was with me when I was and was with my sister. But the social media, what just did, it just controlled you and makes you believe something really, really fake. Thank you.
Dear opponents, it is never our intention to attack you. However, we would gladly go after your ideas. Social media seems to have been with us forever. In fact, Facebook has turned 15 this year, which is an eternity in technology. Social media is so old that the fun police are turned up and are trying to ruin the party. Now, imagine that you had a 4-hour meeting and a break for lunch. Someone delivers a tray of sandwiches. You turn to your colleague and say, "Oh, chicken sandwiches, I love them." This comment is totally within the context. It's appropriate and reveals something of your human self, vital for building your relationships. But this is not what the 4-hour meeting is about. Posts in social media are similarly a record of a moment in time. I was here, this is what I saw, this is what caught my attention, but they are not what social media is about. There's no question that social media has changed the world as we know it. We are more connected than ever before. In a few years, we have revolutionized the way we get our news, communicate, and spend our free time. Social media has even changed the way that we learn about and respond to issues affecting the world around us. In a few clicks, we can learn about diseases we never knew existed, donate to disaster relief, and we can sign petitions to change laws. It's people power gone viral. Welcome to the future, dear opponents. You're free to imagine the mic drop. Thank you.